Hello, everyone, and welcome to Co-Creation Station, the podcast where we talk about the law of attraction, the art of allowing, spiritual magic, the mind-body-spirit connection, and how to best enjoy this mystical, miraculous, mysterious, crazy, sometimes confounding, but always incredible journey we call life. My name is Collin. I'm a teacher, tarot and oracle card reader, and I'm also a singer and guitarist in the band Red Treasure, and I'm located in beautiful, sunny North Hollywood, California.
My name is Stephanie Orlina, and I am a transformational life coach, and I help people shift away from negative thinking, and it transforms their lives. And I am in San Diego, California.
We want to thank you so much for listening to the podcast. If you're listening to the audio version on Spotify, Google Podcasts, Overcast, or wherever you get your podcasts. And we want to thank you for watching us. If you're watching us on the Co-Creation Station YouTube channel, at this time, we are posting a brand new episode every single Monday morning. We want to thank you so much for liking us, following us, subscribing to us, reviewing us, and subscribing to the YouTube channel here. All of these things help other people find the show, and we're very grateful to you for that. You can also please feel free, if you're watching the YouTube version, to leave us a comment on the video. We read all our comments, and we'd love to hear from you. Also, no matter how you are watching or listening to us, you can always email us at cocreationstation1111@gmail.com. Each week, we start our discussion from a different jumping off point, and this week we are thrilled and excited to have a very special guest with us today. Her name is Andrea Aguilar. She is a quantum energy healer and transformational coach. I met her, as we were just saying, it doesn't seem possible, but it's now years ago at the Liberate Hollywood Spiritual Center in Hollywood. She introduced me to theta healing and lots of different modes of healing, but she also introduced me to the Work Your Light Oracle cards from Rebecca Campbell, which is still one of my all-time favorite decks. So a little bit about what Andrea does. She helps others break through their limiting beliefs, learn how to be a quantum manifester, and discover their unique gifts. She helps people weave their dreams into reality, which she's a natural fit for because you can't spell dream without Andrea. She's a guide who holds up a mirror to others to help them see their own divinity so they can share their magical medicine in service to the world. And she cares deeply about co-creating a new paradigm where everyone has their basic needs met and has the opportunity to heal. And I was mentioning to Stephanie right before we went on, Andrea, that we talk about Abraham Hicks all the time here because we're both huge fans and learned a lot of what we learned from Abraham. And you have an Abraham Hicks quote at the very top of the homepage of your website, which is "All possibilities are available right now," which I love. So welcome, Andrea. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you for having me.
It's wonderful to see you again after all this time and to have you
So
here on
much
the
time.
show.
I mean, we lost 2 years, so those last 2 years didn't really exist.
They don't count.
So it's only been 2 years since we really seen each other.
There's a lot of things that haven't happened in 2 years. Yes. So, Andrea, I just wanted to start off by asking you and again, we joked before we went on about please define all of what quantum healing is in 90 seconds or less here for us. No, but if you could talk a little bit about what quantum healing is and how you work with it, and also your story of how you became a spiritual healer and got into all this wonderful healing spiritual stuff that we talk about here.
Quantum healing is a loaded word. So much can happen within the realm of the quantum because it is unlimited possibility. It is everything and it is nothing at the same time. And so the way that I work is when we are able to access our quantum self, we're able to travel through time and space to heal, to co-create with the universe, and remember who we are. And so this goes beyond this lifetime. It spans the whole entire record of our soul, the Akashic records. And it is a blueprint, right? Our Akashic records creates this blueprint of our soul's growth and expansion. And when we can access the quantum, for me, it makes healing feel so much lighter because we can take healing so seriously. It's all about the shadow. Oh, we got to dig deep and we got to really feel this pain and struggle. And what I want to help people do through my healings and through my coaching is like we can access that pain and that trauma and also bring lightness to it.
Mm.
We can infuse the medicine with joy and creativity and play and curiosity. And then when we do that, we're able to transmute that heaviness, that denseness into lightness. And I think that goes back to remembering who we are, these divine sovereign beings who are beyond this like human meat suit. And
And
we
it's fast, right? When you were
it's so
talking,
fast.
yeah,
It's
it doesn't
so
have to be
fast.
this long, drawn out process. It can be
Exactly.
immediate, correct?
I love that. It's what I've been able to witness. I'll even say this. Last night, I was at a Burning Man festival with my crystal bed, which we'll talk about. And I was doing 20-minute healings. And there is music pounding. There's literally a big giant cloud with a DJ, and it's bass and just so loud. And yet it added to this healing of just 20 minutes. And when I took the eye mask off, these 6 people I did healings for, you could see the instant transformation.
Whoa.
And then when they got off, they're like, wow, I just connected to source. Or you just changed my life. And in just 20 minutes, when we can feel safe, when we can trust and surrender our ego at the door, so much healing can happen in such a short amount of time. And going into like the healing that I have done in the last year, I have made some large quantum leaps. And I feel like how we can access the quantum world and the realm so much easier is when we're able to regulate our nervous system.
It keeps coming up.
Yes. How's it coming up for you?
We've had other people talk. Our last guest last month talked about the nervous system.
Hmm. Hmm. Our
Yeah.
nervous system, our breath are all keys to our divinity, to our, it helps us access
Mm.
our power because we're not in fight or flight. We're not in the, we can see what is currently happening in this world and rise above it because we're not existing within that frequency channel, that energy. And what has really helped me again in this last year is working with psychedelics, working with the quantum bed, and learning how to regulate my nervous system and doing it with conviction. I think that's the key. That's a secret sauce to manifestation is conviction. I am healed. I know I'm
Okay.
healed.
Okay.
Yeah, and what's big for me right now is creating new earth, creating heaven on earth and empowering as many
Mm.
people as I can to recognize and say it with conviction with me.
Mm.
And
It's
that's how we
funny
can.
too because I think that's really great because I think a lot of us who get into this spiritual realm and the healing realm, like especially if we were as immersed in sort of what you might call mainstream, society, at least here in the United States. Um, it's this sort of tentative, dipping your toe in the water and then sort of like gingerly, kind of learning more. And there's often a long period where you're like, yeah, I'm a spiritual healer. I'm doing spiritual healing now. And it's like this very like almost like you're afraid to be that. But like as we've talked about before, we had one episode which we ended up titling "Do People Trust Amazon More Than They Trust the Universe?" Because when people order something from Amazon, like nobody gives any thought to, is it going to show up? Am I going to get the right thing? Even though that
Mm,
does happen, like people steal things off porches, people get the wrong order sometimes, but like nobody worries about it. And yet when we think about sending our vibration out into the universe for what we truly were meant to be, for what we truly want to attract into our life, like people just have massive doubt about that. Like, well, I'm not sure about the universe. I'm not sure, like, I don't know. Sometimes I do it and it works.
Or we doubt
Sometimes it doesn't.
ourselves,
Or
right?
we doubt
Our
our own
power
abilities,
within that
gifts. Yeah.
power.
Yeah.
Yeah. But that conviction is really just like, because that conviction, I love that word, but it can sound intimidating. I could see where it could sound intimidating to someone, like, oh my gosh, not only do I have to do spiritual healing, I have to have conviction, but it's literally the same conviction you have when you press buy on Amazon. Like, that's all that's required.
I love
just
that.
Like, you're just not questioning it,
Right. I don't question that I am healed.
Yeah.
And in the last 3 years, the more that I've worked on my conviction, I've even realized in the last 2 weeks, as I've been on this very deep, like big transition in my life. I'm moving, I'm getting a divorce, I'm putting my kid in school and moving to Texas, which is really scary. And I've only been in California my whole life. and there's this sense of lightness and almost feels like I'm missing something. Like I have to ask myself, like, why isn't that pit in my heart not there right now? And it's because I'm here and I'm present. And in the present moment, as Dr. Joe Dispenza says, is like, that's how we create our future memories. That's how we align ourselves to the energy of that of which we desire, is to know that it's already here.
Well, and it sounds too like you're really connected. Like you're not just relying on Andrea. Like you're so connected to spirit, the universe, God, whatever you want, your higher, what you call it, your quantum self. That I think that when I'm connected to any portion of that, there is no doubt, there is no fear, that because I'm in that higher energy state, I just know that all is well. That's what it sounds like when you're saying where there's not that pit and you're doing all this stuff, like you're really connected to that source.
Thank you. I receive that and I celebrate that. And that's another component of creating these quantum leaps, or what my mentor Zion Kim says is a quantum leap is compressed time.
Oh, I like that.
And
we've also talked about how
yes.
time is just so liquid, and we tend to think of time, again, in mainstream culture as this like fixed thing that 1 minute is 1 minute and 1 hour is 1 hour and 1 day is 1 day. But like, we've all had the experience of like having to spend a day with someone we don't like, and that day feels like a week. It really feels like a week. And we've also all had the experience of doing something super fun, that was maybe 6 hours, and it feels like it went by like that. Like, our human experience of time is obviously not this linear, like agitated thing. And when we're working with the universe, that's been my experience, is like, we're so obsessed with speed in this world today. Like, everybody wants everything, but they want to, like, I don't know, it feels like a lot of that's from the ego of like, it's actually this deprivation kind of mentality. It's like, well, it's not here soon enough already.
It's basic. It's
like,
basically having.
Yeah, sorry, go ahead.
So it's like basically having your foot on the gas and the brake at the same time when you're like, I gotta go and do this now.
That is the perfect metaphor for that. It's like defeating yourself while you're trying to move ahead. Whereas the times that I've been able to flow with the universe, as long as I'm okay with the time, and we've talked a lot about time on here as well. Some things show up lightning fast, and some things show up in what I perceive to be a long time, but the speed is up to the universe. And I think the more I'm in the flow generally, the faster things come. We were just, again, before we went on live here, I had talked to Stephanie, and I had not talked about an idea that I thought I was the only person that had, which was making shorter clips of our long episodes for YouTube. Because even though people do watch the full episode on YouTube, like, a lot of times you go on YouTube for like short little bursts of wisdom. You don't need to watch an hour or 45 minutes. And I kept thinking in my head, I honestly had this thought of like, the only way this will happen is I will create these clips. I've got to find the time to make these clips, and I got to tell Stephanie about it, but it's going to be up to me. I'm going to have to make these clips. And then
Because
this week,
up till a few months ago, Colin has been doing most of the back end stuff of our podcast. And
Mm-hmm.
just recently have been doing certain things. I've gotten better at it. But video editing, not even in that realm at all.
Mm-hmm.
and then
Mm-hmm.
this week I just get an email from Steph, and she's like, "Oh, I took some time and I learned iMovie all by myself, and I made this clip, and it's attached to this email." And I was just like that's. I mean, like we
His
had
mind went.
zero
Well,
conversation about that, which is
but
like my fault. I should have talked about it earlier.
you get to communicate, but that's like, I think when we talked, we had, you had mentioned the 5D earlier. It's like what we're transitioning to as we're evolving is like this communication telepathically,
Mm,
that we don't even need human words anymore to express
Yeah.
how we feel or what's going on in our mind. It's in the collective consciousness, and because you work together, you're so tapped in, you're corded.
yeah.
And all the time. I think, they say, what is it? Communication is 90% or 70% body language. And it's, and a lot of times we're saying one thing, but we really mean something different.
Mm-hmm.
So that the verbal, I don't know, that's always been the case. Like we don't really communicate that much through our verbal, but also it's kind of a whole Abraham thing where Colin had put in his vortex of this, edited version of one of our podcasts. And then here I am, a cooperative component, unbeknownst to him, and
Mhm.
voila, and it just shows up in his inbox one day. So,
It
Can
really
you
is the
talk
best.
about? I'm just because we have limited time here. I mean, most of our guests are like this. Like we could talk for like 6 hours, but
I'm going to
oh, sorry.
pause here for a second. I just got a text message, and I don't need to leave at that time, but Colin, whatever you need to
Oh, okay,
do. So,
okay.
mine just totally opened up.
Oh, okay, cool. Well, I wanted Drea to ask you about the bed that you've been using to heal people for the last few years,
Oh,
and
I
like
saw
what
that
it
on your
is and how it
website.
works and all that.
Absolutely. So I work with a quantum resonance crystal bed. And the components of this bed is where science and spirituality meet. And what I incorporate with it is ancient future. So the ancient practices of shamanic healing. I'm a Reiki master, and I use vibration, sound, and light language in combination with this technology, which is the Rife machine. If you are not familiar with Dr. Royal Rife, in 1924, Dr. Royal Rife cured cancer with frequency. He was for 6 cancer patients and was able to prove it outside of his lab. Other doctors were able to prove this as well. And you can't make money off of electricity and healing people and making and you can't make money off healthy people. So they actually buried all of this information, much like free energy, like Nikola Tesla. Yeah. And so this technology that I use now is I keep it at 111 hertz, which is considered the holy frequency. And this frequency is then put in 7 Vogel cut crystals. Marcel Vogel was an IBM programmer who was fascinated with quartz because we're able to program quartz with like our information, computer chips, watches, and quartz can be programmed with our words, with our intention, and that's why we use crystals. At least that's what I do.
I'm like getting tingles all in the
Yes.
back of my head, like up my legs, on my. I've never had so many like
Mm.
physical responses to somebody saying something. Whoa, you're like
Yeah,
blowing my mind here,
I
girl.
have a voice. There's something about the resonance of my voice or my throat chakra that is very activating for people. So
Well,
that's
no,
a
you just
little bit.
talking about what you're
Yeah,
talking. It's that the
yeah,
this whole
yeah,
topic of the quartz and
yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
it's
And so in the channeled readings of Ra, I think it's a law of one. They talk about quartz crystals being these like solid forms of light. And within the light, quartz can be manipulated. You can program it and you can see the molecular structure actually change.
nice.
And so I work with clients to get really clear with their heart space, because that's our beacon. That is where we operate from. It's the lighthouse. And when we create heart coherence and tap into the feeling, that frequency of our desired reality, what we're co-creating in the world, we program that crystal. And then I use energy healing to tune your body to that match that frequency.
That is badass. I love that. I love
Yeah.
that. Wow.
Yeah,
Oh my God.
and in combination, it goes deeper. We have this bed comes with a set of binaural beat gamma wave sound journeys.
Oh, nice.
And you can pick your own adventure from just easy listening to. I always give the options. I'm like, okay, you ready for your adventure? And I'm like, you can pick easy to WTF. And so beach is easy, and then WTF is jungle. And this whole sound,
Oh,
this
wow.
storyline is taking you. This shaman takes you into the jungle, and he's like, okay, let's get ready to. Your mission is to find the temple of illusion and shatter it.
Oh, wow.
And so you go on this like sound journey while your brain is matching a gamma wave state. And in gamma, which looks like this, like a whole bunch of small lines closer together, your brain function, your cognitive brain function increases. So we're able to retain more information. And it opens the portal to our higher consciousness, to our higher self. So then we become more connected with source. And through that gamma wave state, we're also inducing states of bliss. And what I'm doing is creating a cocoon, a container, where you feel absolutely safe to surrender. And when you feel safe to surrender, your body relaxes. When your body relaxes, your DNA activates itself. It's like, she's not freaking out. Let's self-heal. Come on, guys. So your body then activates its ability, innate ability to heal on a physical, mental, emotional, and energetic level.
Oh.
So what that's also doing is opening. I feel like part of the work that I do when I see it in my mind's eye or in my clairvoyance is, I don't know if you like, it brings me back to X-Men and Professor X, right? And like he's in that like big giant globe room of mirrors, and he has like the helmet, and then he can like access like different people and get into tap into their subconscious. I see myself in these fractal rooms. So it's very quantum. People have kind of called me celestial, I guess. I'm not so much an underworld worker, but I'm a celestial angelic realm worker. And so I access this space, and I feel like I'm even just like a technician at a computer where I'm reprogramming someone's subconscious. So using my voice, using theta healing to walk them through a meditative state to get them into that state of being. And then they relax using their breath, connecting to their heart. And the next 45 minutes to an hour, they're under my care, and just to see the results, just to hear what people have been able to manifest or create or let go of, quit their job, pursue their life dreams, land dream roles that they've always wanted, and had in their mind's eye, and not even like try to get that role. It just lands on their lap.
Wow.
It's really incredible work. And the bed vibrates at the same time, so it's vibroacoustic, so you're just like immersed in this whole experience that takes you to another world. I call it the void, because you lose sense of your physical body. Like people can't feel their hands or their body anymore. They don't know, and there's no thoughts. They're just present, and it's quite incredible and so much fun. And I want to bring it back to like, I didn't finish a thought earlier, but like another key component to making quantum leaps is gratitude, joy, and excitement. And so I love to infuse like that lightness, that laughter into my healings, yes, it can be serious, but we can also laugh at ourselves because we're human, and we kind of did it to ourselves. That's kind of just been my whole like my biggest revelation was I played myself. I played the best cosmic joke on myself. And and I chose all of my traumas. I chose my mother dying when I was 2 so that I could be here in this now moment doing what I do now because I created my own dream.
Mm. That's really a powerful place to stand from, to own
That's
it.
beautiful.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I wanted, in the few minutes we have left, I wanted to give you some time to talk about, because you have a really interesting story about how you, I don't want to blow it for people, but how you became a mother, I guess. I'll just put it that way. Like your
Okay.
journey from, because
Yeah.
you did not originally see yourself as
Oh, not at
that
all.
being a major part of your life. Yeah.
And you know, so my Instagram handle is conscious.mother, and I have a 4-year-old. His name is Zephyr Rad, and
It's the best name ever.
it's
I'm so jealous of that kid.
it's an ode to Venice Beach. It's my ode to him in Venice Beach, and I feel like he's a reincarnate of like one of the original Dogtown like Z Boys. And so like I shared, my mother died when I was 2. And it put me in a state of like not belonging, feeling lonely. I was the rainbow sheep, just like felt really misunderstood and outcasted. And I also didn't like think I had the chops, right, to be a mother, and it never really crossed my mind until I woke up. I woke up at Burning Man in 2014. And then in 2016, after Burning Man, I felt him come. He was like, I'm here and I'm ready, and my name is Zephyr.
Oh.
Yeah, and so on Beltane, which is May 1st, my birthday is May 2nd. My ex-partner is April 29th, so we're on either side of the fertility celebration day. And we wrote an intention. We said we wrote Zephyr a letter and told him that we were ready. And we had a Beltane ceremony. We jumped over the traditional fire and to call him in. And on the Wesak full moon, which was about 2 weeks later, I knew I was ovulating, and we tried, and I got pregnant immediately.
Wow.
Yeah. And then I had a beautiful pregnancy. Although being in the Western medical system, Kaiser Permanente, don't recommend. It just takes away the sanctity or like the sacredness of childbirth. I was to go deep in a little bit of a trigger warning. I was medically raped, and my arms tied down, emergency C-section. I was taking too long, and it was the scariest moment in my life, the scariest. And it was like all I could do in that moment was like be calm and breathe, and like everything will be okay. But that was my opening. That was my big wake up call. And I look back in those moments and I'm like so grateful, even though at the time I was like, why is this happening to me? I've learned it happened for me so that I could be here to help people and really empathize with people's situations and feel the whole swath of human emotion and how deep the shadow can go. And so and to just really empathize and relate to mothers who are experiencing the same thing. So that's my birth story.
Wow.
I've never actually met Zephyr in person, but I continue to see photographs of him, and I'm sure he has his moments, but in photographs, I've rarely seen like a being on this earth who seems more connected to joy and freedom than him. It's just like every time I see a photo of him, he's just like, I'm all about what's happening right now. It's awesome.
He is such a teacher in presence. And his spirit, the way he speaks and the way he can um he just understands. And I'll say this because I'm an open heart. So in the process of separation and divorce, um I was, it was my turn to he was for his turn to go back to his dad. And I was like, Zephyr, you're gonna go back to see your dad. He's like, yeah, I know, it's cool. I love my dad. I was like, okay. I'm like, do you love me? He was like, yeah, I love you. You're better now. Like he knew.
Whoa.
He was just about to turn
What?
4, and he was like, you're better now.
Ooh, wow.
Yeah. So his consciousness had like dropped in way sooner than most children. And he's hangs out with witches all day. Like living in the mountains, I've hosted a lot of retreats
Where are
for
you at?
I lived in Lake Arrowhead, California,
Oh, okay, okay.
and I'm in the transition to move to Austin. So, hosting a lot of people, especially during COVID, where people just needed a place to go
Yeah.
and get a break. And so I would, host friends and clients up at our house. And so he was just exposed to so many different people who are on the healing path. And I think that really helped him develop this consciousness that he has right now, this presence. He's such a healer.
Oh,
That's awesome.
wow.
Yeah.
How much longer will you be in Lake Arrowhead?
I think I Sorry, sir. I'm so in flow. I have no idea. But
Okay.
it looks like I'm about to get a house here like
Okay.
today. So I'm gonna maybe be back and forth until May, June.
Oh, are you in Texas now? Is that where you're coming from today? Okay. Okay. Right. Where in
Yeah.
Texas, do you think?
Austin.
Austin. Okay.
Yeah,
Oh, cool.
I would love to, if you have some time, I'd love to share what I'm gathering from this place, because I think
Absolutely.
Yeah,
it's
sure.
a very important message.
Yes, please.
So I'm right now just really big on creating new earth, right? And entering the 5D, entering heaven on earth. And there is no reason for me to leave my beautiful mountain home of solitude and freedom and peace to come back to urban life, because I lived in LA for so long. And although my time in the mountains helped me reset my nervous system and like understand my own energy, the energy of Austin, what's happening here right now is the floodgates are being opened. And this is the opening to the golden age. This energy, this place is of action, it's of community, it's of support. It's like, how can we make things better? And that's everybody that I have encountered is like, who are you? What are you up to? Let's hang out. Like, I never got that energy in LA. I kind of did, but it's kind of like, well, I don't have, it's kind of a flaky town. So I'm sure you can relate,
Real
but
talk. Real talk.
you come here and like everybody is about experience. Like, how can we make this better? Even when you go to a restaurant, you will not make it in Austin if you do not have an experience with your food. And so there's also something very special about the waters here. Barton Springs, it feels like a gathering. Like, this is where the Rainbow Warriors are meeting right now. And so I'm called to this land, called to this place, so that I can help activate as many leaders as possible.
Bravo.
That's amazing.
Yeah. Happy
Well,
for you.
as I mentioned, I think we could talk to you all day,
Yeah.
but we are
We
going
may
to
have you on again if you
Okay.
would be open to that, because
Yeah.
we didn't even hear your story about how you got started, although you did mention Burning Man. So, but yeah, I just love what you're doing. Thank you so much. Oh my God, it's been a experience to
Yeah.
meet you and
When
hear
when
your
I
story.
when I come back to California, maybe you both can do a little road trip for the day and hang out and come
Yeah.
to bed.
Heck yes.
Yeah.
That's a hell yes.
You gotta follow our
Absolutely.
yeses. I'll end with that.
Absolutely.
Follow your yeses. Every time you listen to the yes, the full fuck yes.
Yeah, that's right. If it's a no, it's a hell no. If it's a
Yeah.
yes, it's a hell yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yep.
And the universe
Honor them both.
provides. The universe always provides when we
Yeah.
trust with conviction
Mm.
and infuse it with joy.
All
Yay.
right. Well,
We'll
thank you
end with
so
that.
much, Drea.
Oh, quick question.
Oh, yes.
What did you like to do for fun as a
Oh,
kid?
yeah.
Oh, what do I love to do is for, oh man.
When you were a kid, what did you like to do for fun?
I was really good. I don't even know. Like it's such a weighted question because like my childhood sucked. But the moments that I really enjoyed were late nights on Saturday when my dad would play mahjong with my uncles.
Oh.
And I would go to my cousin's house in Walnut, California, and we would stay up all night and we would play Ninja Turtles, and and I was already a kind of a leader when I was a kid, and so I'd always be the one like bossing everyone around. I think it's my Capricorn moon. So I think like yeah, those were the moments that I
Mm.
truly cherished was
Mm.
being those nights with my cousins.
Playing Ninja Turtles. All right, right on.
All right. Well, again, thank you so much, Drea, for being here
Thank
today.
you
It
for
was a
having
really,
me.
really special experience for all of us. I hope you listening and watching had an amazing experience as well. And thank you so much for joining us today. Thank you so much for liking us, following us, subscribing to us, reviewing us, and subscribing to the YouTube channel. We're very grateful to everyone who does that for us. Thank you so much. If people, oh yeah, and you mentioned your Instagram handle, Drea, but your website is consciousmother.com still,
Correct.
correct?
Yeah.
Okay. So if you want to find Drea, you can find her on Instagram or at her website there. If people want to find you, Stephanie, where can they do so?
Power in Joy, POWERINJOY.com, and on Instagram as well, same handle.
And you can always find me and even write me a direct message on Instagram. I'm at Collin_Daniels_Worster. Collin has two L's and Worster is WORSTER. We'll also put all of that in all of the descriptions everywhere. So you can, if you're able to check the description of wherever you're consuming us, you can get that information there. Thank you so much for listening and watching. We wish you a happy, joyous, free, and abundant week. And we will see you next time on Co-Creation Station. Thanks, everybody.
Bye.
Bye.